We've got some exciting news over here at Before the Echo. I just linked up with Latitude Outdoors, the crew behind the saddle platform and sticks I've been using all year long, at least for last year. Personally, I love the Method 2 saddle. I had the options of using all kinds of saddles, and that's the one I chose. My dad liked the classic model. He used that all year. Let me tell you, their carbon sticks, the Carbon SS sticks, they're really good too. A lot of guys love those sticks. I love them too. I used them quite a bit last year. But these guys over at Latitude, they're not just good folks that I wanted to partner with. They're also offering our listeners a pretty sweet deal. You got 20% off everything on their website using code BTE20. If you're in the market right now for some new mobile hunting gear, head over to latitudeoutdoors.com and use the code BTE20 before May 20th rolls around. You don't want to miss this deal. It's time to start thinking about whitetail gear. ASIO Gear, it offers a fantastic solution for any of your clothing needs. They've crafted a premium line of bow hunting gear that stands out in quality, especially for the price point. What's more, every purchase from ASIO comes with a lifetime warranty. That gives you some peace of mind there with clothing. With their unique camo pattern and great technology in their garments, ASIO ensures you'll stay comfortable in the stand or in the saddle, whatever you're using. And here's the kicker. ASIO is offering a special deal to listeners. If you use the code ECHO15 at checkout, you can get 15% off your purchase of anything on the ASIO's website. So visit ASIOgear.com today to explore the selection of premium hunting clothing that they have over there. The folks over at Exodus Outdoor Gear have some exciting releases lined up for this year. The first one is that new Lift 4K camera, along with their Arrival A5 and their MMT and NIS arrows. But what truly sets Exodus apart for me is their commitment to their customers. They by far have the best YouTube channel in their realm and also have some great podcasts on their platforms that provides their customers with all kinds of information, truly making you a better deer hunter for being involved with Exodus Outdoor Gear. Plus, they're offering an exclusive 15% discount on their entire website for listeners of this podcast by using the code ECHO. So don't miss out. Grab your Exodus Outdoor Gear at exodusoutdoorgear.com and use code ECHO to save some cash. In the woods, noise can be the difference between getting you a big buck and going home empty-handed. To almost guarantee stealth and silence, stealth strips are an absolute essential tool for all your gear. It's plain and simple. If you're not using stealth strips, you're not giving it your all in the deer woods. Lou, over at Stealth Outdoors, crafted the finest silencing tape on the market, bar none. So, head over to stealthoutdoors.com to grab yourself some stealth strips and ensure your gear is dead silent before deer season arrives this year. All my partners are in the description of this podcast. Go check them out. What's up, everybody?
Hello, everybody.
The intro is a little different.
I like it.
I'll tell you why I did it this way, because, dude, it probably takes me to add that to, I'll give you guys the workflow. So we do this show, right? Tomorrow morning, I got to download this show. So it's an hour and a half download onto my computer. And then I have to go into my editing software, and this video is in 1080p. An hour and a half video in 1080p takes a little bit for it to buffer into my software. And then I have to edit up that clip you guys just saw into the software, and then I download it, which takes about an hour. Then I have to re-upload it into the software that puts it out to the Spotify and all that. So it takes me like an extra 3 hours. Whereas if I just put it into these videos, which y'all, like, I always feel bad for these listeners because I never mention my discount codes and stuff on here, and they're pretty decent. Like, our partners give us pretty good discounts. So anyway, it's just 3 minutes long, whatever.
Yeah, I was watching. I was looking at the time, and I was like, man, that's a long intro, but I was like into it, man. I was like, yeah, wow, this is really good, Josh.
Yeah. People listen to this podcast just on the audio version. There's no difference, but this is just a little different. So gives me time to think a little bit too about how I'm going to say stuff or whatever, get a little prepared.
Yeah.
But yeah, check out the description. I never mentioned it on this show, and you get like 20% off for Latitude, and that's a new partner that just started. And then 15% off for ASIO, and I feel bad because I've had some buddies like buy stuff and they like don't even realize they could save some money on that kind of thing. But anyway, you feeling better?
Yeah. I can see.
I text you. I think, did you die last night? That's why I text Patrick this morning.
Yeah, I was like, what's his Paul on the road to Damascus? Didn't Jesus take his sight? That's so to all the viewers out there, I'll let you know why we didn't air yesterday. So I was sitting on my couch just thumbing through my phone. It's raining here, so I can't work. I hate it. I'm just boring. You can't hunt, you can't work. So thumbing through my phone, and all of a sudden my vision just closed down like this. And I couldn't see anything around. It's the weirdest thing ever. And then this little squiggly line was in the middle of my vision, and it was like a kaleidoscope. It kind of freaked me out. It lasted about 15 minutes. I went and laid down, and then when I opened my eyes after about 5 minutes of laying down, it was gone. Did a little research on it. It's called a ocular migraine, I think is what it was. I'm self-diagnosing from WebMD and YouTube. And or it is a precursor to a stroke. So I'm hoping it's ocular migraine.
Have you had migraines before?
Never. And I didn't have a headache with it. Like when I called you last night, was like, let's put it off till tomorrow. I had kind of a headache, and I just felt kind of cruddy. And I don't know if that's because I laid down in the middle of the afternoon, because sometimes I wake up and I don't always feel good after a nap, or if it was something to do with that. But about 7 o'clock, about the time we usually go on, I started feeling better. And then after that, I was fine. So praise God.
Yeah. That's better safe than sorry. I hate for you to get on here last night and be all miserable.
Yeah. Just flake out.
Yeah.
Just get stuck.
I looked on the, and Dan, because we got a lot of crossover between my channel and Dan's. Obviously, Dan's not having a show tonight, I guess. So I was like, well, this worked perfect. It don't matter.
Oh, good. Well, that's good then.
But looks like you got some turkey story to tell. You guys got another turkey?
Yeah, we took John's dad's old partner, Dr. Madison Buckley, on a hunt. Let's see. So it was Saturday we went, and Bird did it right, man. Got great footage. He'd been using this field in front of this blind down there in that bottom that we were at. Mm-hmm. You remember when we walked out where John showed us the picture when we checked the camera? Yep. And he was like, the turkey walked through, and then we walked through like a minute later.
That old purple Browning camera that's sun faded.
Yeah, right there. So we sat down there. John set up a blind the day before, and we sat down there because he's Madison's 86 years old, and gets around really, really good and shoots even better. And this is the second year we've hunted that I've hunted with him. John's hunted with him all his life. And we got in the blind, daylight, and we were just kind of going to sit there and see what happened. Never even made a call because the turkeys were kind of doing the same thing. There's hens that are nesting in that bottom. So, but they're still flying up, flying down. They're not sitting all night yet. And first turkey out of he gobbled right across the field. John cuts. So what he does is on his property, he cuts lanes in all the CRP or in those fields because the turkeys will naturally gravitate to them. So if you own your own property, kind of maybe a tip, if you do that, the turkeys will follow them like roads. And so what he does in some of those places is he'll set a blind up, like a wagon wheel, and the turkeys just kind of fall. And then he'll disc the ground too, because turkeys like fresh disc ground. And so he had a bunch of disc ground there, and everything else was disc and rose bush hog. So birds basically flew down and came right in, and he strutted the whole way in and got great footage. And we told Madison he could shoot, and he waylaid him. It didn't even flop.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, 86, man. He always says the funniest stuff too. So last year, I got it on my channel, the video. He said, we were talking. He says, well, when you get my age, you're a rooster one day and a feather duster the next. And then this year, he said, what did he say? He said, I really love turkey hunting, but I'd rather fish. And he said, I was fishing down in Florida because he's got a house down in Florida. He said, I was fishing in Florida in the bay, and this lady said, are you going to throw that fish back or are you going to keep it? He goes, I'm going to throw it back. I'm going to throw it into Crisco Bay.
Oh, yeah.
So he just always got something funny to say, man. These old people are fun to be around. So
they are.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You guys got him a bird 2 years in a row now.
Yeah, man. It's just John. He's He just knows his place, and he watches those turkeys all the time. So
yeah,
pretty cool. It was a fun hunt, and he and I were going to go hunt and try to kill my last bird that mid morning, but he ended up having to drive Madison back in, and then it just got late, and Brandy wanted me to do something with her, so I just figured I'd just wait. So
how much time you guys got left now?
2 weeks.
Oh, you still got time.
Oh yeah, they're still doing it. I saw a gobbler today out in the field strutting with some hens. He had 9 hens with him out in the field, so it's kind of weird this time of year, but I don't know. It's right around the corner from the house too. When turkey loop, when I took you, when you came down, I rode turkey loop. I do it every day, and he was out in the field back here behind the house. So
we're done here now. Turkey season's over. It comes and goes so fast here.
Yeah. We usually end the same time as you do. So before they changed our seasons, a couple of years ago, we used to be done in to last weekend would have been the last weekend. So because they took 2 weeks off the front, they gave us 2 weeks on the back. And surprisingly, it's still really good, even up into the end of May. Not really good, but they have their days when they're wanting to talk. And, if you know what you're doing, you got to be quiet. You can't really just hammer them with calls, but they'll come in and you can still kill them gobbling good. I got a bird Sunday, and he gobbled probably 150 times. And, so they're still doing it.
Yeah. My buddy Dave wants me to come up, or has invited me up to go hunt his place in Michigan, but they go until the end of the month. But I just don't know if I'll have time to go up there. We're going to go see my wife's grandma next week, and then May will be over almost.
Yeah, and then we got how many months till deer season? So June, July, August.
Not very many.
Not 3 months, and then September 1st rolls around, and you'll be going to Nebraska and maybe
do something
here. Yeah.
Yep. I just put in for Iowa and Kansas, so we'll see. I don't know if we'll get Kansas or not, but Iowa I should surely get this year.
Yeah, I'm sure with as many points you got. I got another point for Iowa. I got one for Kansas. I put in for that traditional archery hunt in Oklahoma.
Yep.
And then I put in for my gun tag in Illinois this year again. So we'll see if business doesn't pick up, man. I might be hunting to eat. I might be hunting to eat. I might be like on the highway.
You're going to quit being a trophy hunter.
Yeah.
Start stacking them up.
Yeah. This first spike that comes in, he's dead.
Oh, that's funny. What is it with you think it's just the economy right now? People not wanting to spend money on landscaping and stuff like that?
Yeah. I ran into a guy. I had to go to the dump today and dump my dump trailer. And there's a guy up there, and I asked him about, I was thinking about renting my dump trailer out just during the summer when I'm not using it, when I'm just cutting grass. And I asked him what he charged, and he kind of went over it with me and told me about, how to do it and everything. And I asked him, I said, man, have you been slow? And he's like, my phone's ringing off the hook. He said, but all my buddies that are in landscaping or other businesses are really struggling right now. Gutters, tree work is really slow right now. So I think it's election season, and the economy's not doing too good either. And I think people are really holding on to their money right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're nervous.
Can't blame them, really, can you?
No, and then you got like everything in the world says we could be going into another World War III. So I think people are a little scared about that. God forbid that happen, So
yeah,
I don't know what it is, but they're not spending money like they have been the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. You ever feel like these like threats of war now are more just to keep people scared? Like you think like a world war or something of that extravagant would ever happen again?
No, I think it could, but I think it's more about money, and I think they start these little wars that are easily controlled, and I think all the world leaders are in agreement, and they're doing whatever they're told by the real people that run the world.
Yeah,
going down a rabbit hole here, and I just think that they, now the Israel-Palestine war, I think that's legitimate war. Ukraine is, in my opinion, a joke. I think that's all people want. I think it's a real war. I think they really push against Putin, but I do think that it is more for American businesses in the West to make money. And that's why they're spending all our tax money and filtering it back. So I think that's kind of like I think that's a joke, but I think the war in Israel, I think that's real. Cause there's a lot of biblical stuff on, that relates back to that too.
But you don't mean like I guess I'm making your sentence a little softer about the war and you're not saying it's not really happening where people aren't dying and stuff over there. You're just saying like the
Yeah.
reasoning for it is not
No,
legitimate.
I'm saying that
Yeah.
that it is a war that they wanted so that they could get back to the business of making money after they pulled out of Afghanistan. Because you got to think about it. We were in Afghanistan for what, 20 years? How much military contracts?
Oh my
When
gosh.
you look, and
Yeah.
I'm sure Zeke knows about this because he was in the military. Like when you're out of the military, you can go back as a contractor to train soldiers and things. So those guys and those companies that send them are getting paid by our government. Then you got the roadways and the infrastructure they're putting in and all that. And then the military equipment they're giving the Afghanis and all that. So they had a 20-year run where they were just piling money up for all these big companies. And that went away. Well, what happened right after that was gone? We go to Ukraine. So now that's the new place. I mean, I really don't believe a lot of these wars that have been started in the last 20 years. Now that I'm older and kind of woke up to what's going on in the world, I don't think they're legitimate. Kuwait was legitimate because, he invaded Kuwait. But I think after that, it became a money-making deal. And I think that's kind of what
we all sit here and hear figures. We hear figures all the time about how much money we send these places. Like, war is a giant business, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of money in killing people. I mean, and it's boy, that's really not good,
Well,
so
yeah, just think about like, I mean, the supplies for soldiers that gets, someone has to make those and they get money for that. And, they probably, I mean, I don't know this for a fact, but they probably charge the government, way more than what that stuff's actually worth. And then I've also heard, like Zeke told me, like they get crap stuff too. Like the soldiers and stuff sometimes get worse technology than we have to do their jobs.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're probably charging them a premium for it because it's military grade.
Yeah, I think the tanks we're using are so antiquated compared to what they need to be, what they could do. I mean, I don't know if we use tanks as much anymore, because a lot of stuff's done by drone strikes. But I think a lot of our equipment's just outdated. And I think, that's why you got to do what we're doing here today, man. Because you can't control the world, and you just kind of got to. If you sit here and worry, I used to worry about this stuff all the time and get all hyped up and on Facebook, and I'm just like, what difference am I going to make? At this point, till something pops off where we got to take our country back, I'm just going to sit here and try to put my faith in the Lord.
That's all you have. I mean, what else? Like you said, what else you going to do?
Hunt, take care of your family.
Yep,
that's about it.
Make yourself better.
Yeah. Yeah, give our government all my tax money.
Yeah.
I'm always griping about taxes to Josh. I'm so mad about taxes. He's like, because when you pay them out of your pocket, it's a different feeling than when they take them out of your check at work. And starting a new business, I never really had to pay a lot in taxes until the last 2 years. Now that I've kind of grown up.
Dude, I know, dude. It's insane. It is insane what they do to small businesses. Like you would think they would have the opposite, like an opposite effect. Like do you think they would help a small business? Like maybe your first 5 years you can work on, with a tax reduction or something. But no, it's like they pull you over the coals.
Yes, 37% is what you and I pay in taxes for our money we make from our businesses.
Yeah, think about that, dude.
Yeah,
you're over a quarter of the year you are working for nothing,
for free, and then. And then when you look at it too, you're still paying taxes on all your gasoline, everything you eat, everything you buy at the store. There's no telling how much money we really don't make, when at the end of the day. It's horrible.
Yeah. Oh, I was talking to a guy that I used to work with the other day. I said, dude, the thing I miss the most is not having to worry about all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I hate worrying about taxes and doing those and keeping track of all that. I hate it, dude. I hate it.
Yep. Yeah, I hate it too. But then I think about the alternative, and that's working for somebody else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could go back into law enforcement, and that would be easy to do. But I don't really
right now, I imagine.
Yeah, I don't really want to do that. I'm just going to sit here and ride this out until, I don't know, whenever.
Yeah.
Till
you start shooting deer for meat instead of.
Yeah. I might have to start killing some deer instead of being so daggum picky this year.
Yeah, I know, man. What would being a police officer, because you were in Memphis, which is not a great place to be a police officer, but like if you get on like in a town where you live now, would it be as bad? Or is
no, it's not bad out here. I would get on at one of the suburbs because they pay
Yeah.
pretty good. Man, one of the departments pays like $80,000 a year, and cost of living here is really cheap for everybody out there watching, because I know we all live in different parts of the country, but
Yeah.
cost of living here is really, really cheap compared to a lot of places. And so like 80 grand is pretty good money for being law enforcement. Plus you do overtime.
It would be here too.
Yeah, you can make $100,000. I made, when I left Memphis, my top out was 56,000, and they're making 76,000 now. How many years have I been gone? 7 years. So 7 years later, they're making, good money.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty good money.
Yeah,
depends who you ask, but yeah,
I think it's pretty good.
In my opinion, I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I've said this before, but man, if your household income is, I think, over 100 grand a year, and you're struggling, it's like, man, whew, I don't know what you're doing. But
I'm already like, I want to get rid of all my toys and all my stuff.
Same.
I don't want any notes. I just want the stuff that I use to hunt and to live and to, I don't know, do fun stuff. But I don't need all this other, I've got a nice boat. That thing's going to be gone here for too long, hopefully.
Yeah, you got a nice hunting boat.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't. One thing is, as I was thinking, one big motivator is I can't write it off because it's a boat and it has nothing to do with my business.
Yeah.
So, and Native South's not making, any money. So I don't want to use it for that as a write off yet. And so it's just sitting in the garage most of the time, unless it's duck season. And I'm not that hungry about duck hunting. I just do it when you can't deer hunt for about 3 weeks left, when there's 3 weeks left in the, duck season here. So it's not worth it.
Yeah. Yep. I'm in the same boat. My father-in-law, my brother-in-law wants my four-wheeler real bad. I got a 2020 Honda Foreman, and we never use it. It sits in the barn. Like, I may get it out just to like run it. It's pretty much why I use it. He's like, man, he wants to buy it so bad. So I may end up selling that thing to him, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm over it all. I'm over having notes, man. I'll probably go get one after this. Like, only thing I want to buy is, that camper that I built. I want to get a truck that I can put that camper in that's not my work truck, because it's so annoying for me to hook up a trailer, unhook a trailer, and all that stuff it's just, I want a truck that I can just, my dedicated vehicle that's I can hunt out of, or, stuff like that.
Yeah, I get that.
We get everything paid off. That might be what I do, but, maybe later this year.
Yeah.
After I sell my boat.
I don't know, man. Money's hard.
Yeah. I think everybody's having a hard time too. Like, I don't feel as bad. Like, I felt kind of bad earlier this year. It's like, man, I'm not getting any work. I'm not making any money, and my wife's got, thank God she's got a really nice job. So, that helps out. And I'm just like frustrated, but I've been through this in 2008 when the economy crashed and I was laying tile for a living. So this will happen. It's probably going to happen again, but people still want their yard cut every week. So that's not.
It's just like the fancy stuff, like landscaping and stuff people aren't doing.
Yeah, the big money stuff, because that's where I make a lot of money. I can make landscape. I make $3,000 in a day. Landscaping, if it's a decent sized job.
Yeah,
and I hadn't had one call for that yet this year. Not one. I've done a couple of my customers, and that's been kind of it. So yeah, it's been really slow.
Yeah. You want to get into our topic today? Because this could be a long topic today. I don't know if we want to stop for 45 minutes before.
Y'all get your snacks ready. Get your popcorn and your Coke.
No, I mean, this is probably a bad reason to talk about this, but I just, man, and I don't know if this dude probably, he may be watching today, but like, I put
again.
No. I put a post on my buddy Dave that owns Razor Broadheads. He came out with a new broadhead, and it's a small business like me and you have, and they're trying to make money, and they're investing in all these broadheads. And a guy I just put on there like, there's a 300 grain head, and I'm like, man, if you're wanting some FOC, this would be the head to get, or whatever I said. I can't remember. And like some guy below the comment was like, said something along the lines of, that's just ridiculous. And we're hunting deer here. Why do you need 300 grains? I'm like, what's the point in putting that on there? Like, dude, I was not like, I don't make any money off Razor. I was just helping a friend out. showing you guys he has this new head. It's like, why go underneath there and just bash this small business's hard work? And like, what was your purpose of that?
Yeah.
And for one, tons of traditional people shoot that much up front. Like that is not uncommon. And I never did mention whitetails on there. It's like, what? I'm like, people are just, I mean,
he might want to go hunt Cape Buffalo with that head.
Or whatever, man. Maybe you shoot a trad bow and you want to, you need your arrows are too stiff. You need more weight up front. Like there's people are going to shoot it. Anyway, that got me thinking about just how we treat each other.
Yeah.
And what God thinks about that.
Yeah. The internet has brought out the worst in people. Social media has made a lot of weak people confident. I'll put it that way, Yeah. And I've been guilty of, speaking my opinion when it probably was the best thing. And a lot of times I delete it because I'm like, yeah, you're right. My wife has really put me in check on that because she sees it. And she'll be like, hey, you don't need, right? What do you think? What we got? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But now I'm way better about it now since I've really started kind of, listening to the Holy Spirit about it. But I mean, we're commanded to treat each other the way we want to be treated. And I don't like when people disrespect me. So I'm sure it's not good if I was to do that to someone else,
Yeah. And so that got me thinking about, and I started reading about what scripture says about that. And we all know the verse in Matthew, love thy neighbor as thyself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that particular, in Mark, it's in Mark 12 and I have it up here. I won't read it verbatim because it's kind of a long passage. It's several verses and I don't like reading out loud. So anyway,
you're so good at it though. I mean, that intro was incredible. I was thinking,
man.
I was serious. I was like, man, he did a really good job on it.
Well, thanks, dude.
Golf clap, dude.
I can read it. It's just retention time on YouTube. It would not be good, I don't think, because it's a lot of.
They might get a kick out of
it. Anyways, where that comes from in Mark is someone was asking Jesus, what is the greatest commandment? And of course, the first greatest commandment is love the Lord thy God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind. That's the greatest commandment. But then the second is thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Mm-hmm.
There's none other commandment greater than these. So, obviously God wants us to love him first off, and then secondly, love each other. And man, we just don't do a good job with that anymore.
No. And I was bad about it, but the preacher that really has spoke to me a lot, not spoke like physically, but just that I watched on YouTube and really follow a lot. When he said that we're all created in the image of God, how can you hate anything that God creates? Because everything he creates is perfect. The world distorts it, right? So, if you're being mean to somebody, you're essentially, if you trash anything that anybody does, you're kind of trashing God's work in a way, because he creates everything. We create things out of things that he puts here on earth. But, just to be mean to people or I don't get why we do that. I've been guilty of it. So I'm not perfect.
Yeah,
right?
sure. Me too.
I'm not saying this like, oh, I'd never have talked crap to somebody on Facebook because, man, I did it a lot back in the day. But I don't know why I did it. I'm like, why did I do that? I don't know these people. I don't like, why did I like, why do we do that? That's a good question. Like psychologically, I want to know like what enjoyment do people get out of it? I wasn't as convicted by my faith then as I, am now, of course, but it really made me, reading scripture and stuff like that really made me think like, man, that's just not the way I want to present myself as a Christian. You're a hypocrite,
Yeah. One thing too that I think, and I've already seen some comments about this, about how, you don't know what other people are going through and all that. And that's true. But, those people that bash other people on the internet, like you don't know what the guy on the other side of the screen is going through either, that posted something that you don't agree with. Like, so that kind of goes both ways. And I get your comment there, but like also, the verse reads, love thy neighbor as thyself. And man, I think anymore people just don't love themselves very much either. What I mean? It's really hard to be good to others whenever you're not happy about how you're living or what your circumstance is.
Yeah.
Now, there's probably a lot to unfold there. Like that's a pretty big statement, but like social media too. I mean, we could probably talk about social media just exclusively in this, but I mean, it's still a human problem, right? I think social media has brought out envy of others that just wasn't there in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's so in your face about what, all this cool things people do or cool things people have. And those cool things are built into the system and the algorithm on social media. So those cool things get reshared and reshared and reshared. It's like, oh, that guy has a, I don't know, whatever your vice is. That guy has a, $80,000 side by side. He's doing all this awesome stuff with it. And I'm like, man, I want that. And then all of a sudden you're mad because you don't have that.
Yeah.
And it's just a snowball effect,
Yeah, I mean, or you watch some of these hunters and stuff on here, and you can project whatever you want from social media. You can be the biggest jerk in the woods and project on social media like you're this great hunter that's helping people, or that you kill all the big deer or whatever, and people are thinking, man, but they don't know the circumstances. Like, some of these guys, and I mean myself included, I get a lot of time off, right? You can't compare me to the guy that hunts weekends. If I hunt 40 days a season and kill a big or two big deer, and you hunt 10 days a season and you kill a nice basket rack 8 and you're proud of that, well, man, you just don't have the time to put. I mean, it takes a lot of time to kill big deer. I mean, it really does.
Yeah.
And the less time you're on the stand, the less time you're in the woods scouting, you can't do it. So to sit here and look at somebody's Facebook page and go, man, he's great, or man, there's a lot of guys that just have a lot of time and they're good hunters. They know what they're doing, and consistency really proves how good of a hunter you are. But
yeah,
I think we compare ourselves to that, and everybody's life looks great on social media, but a lot of the times they're just as rotten in the core as a lot of people, bad people are,
Oh yeah. Or there's a lot of this. They've been divorced twice. Their kids don't like him, or their kids are in jail because, or they're, whatever the case may be, they're in trouble because that guy that is some awesome hunter, like, didn't pay attention to his family for 20 years,
Yeah.
It's like, don't, I mean, you get the whole, the part about, don't really, those people you look up to, sometimes you don't really want to know the truth. And
Right.
they're not, social media doesn't tell you the truth.
Right.
Everything on social media is made up. Like it is.
It's a false world. It's a false reality. I mean, I don't have kids, so I can, as long as my wife's cool with it, I can go hunt and she's cool with it. Most of the time, I can go hunt every day, and she gets off work and I'm home when she gets off work. If I hunt here, if I go out of state for a week, she's good with that. And I get to hunt a lot, but certain people don't. Then you see that, and I think people get judgmental over it, and because they can't do it, maybe they feel like they have to lash out at the guys that can, or, the guys that are constantly killing the bigger deer, or the most turkeys, or have the piles of ducks or whatever. I mean, they just have a different set of circumstances, and it's, you're not supposed to, that's one thing, covet. And I think you're not supposed to covet other people's.
Covet your neighbors.
You're not supposed to covet your neighbors. So
I think that's what it says. Covet your neighbor's stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. Covet your neighbors. Yeah.
All their junk.
Yeah. But I think social media 100% is the worst thing that ever happened to the world.
Man. It's like, dude, I remember my grandpa, that generation, he'd be in 94 now, 93, something like that. But like, dude, that generation didn't seem to want for anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the biggest fisher. Like nobody fished more than that guy. And he had the same exact boat his whole freaking life. Like, it was a 14-foot John boat. He didn't even have a motor on it. It was like just a trolling motor. But like, I remember fishing out of that forever and ever and ever. And like, he could have, they were fine financially. Like, they didn't spend all their money or anything. He could have bought a nice boat, even a nice John boat, but like, I don't know, man. Something flipped sometime in the 90s where people just
2000 was the end of it, man. As someone who grew up in the 90s, like, man, when I went hunting, I was just happy to be with my dad. and excited every morning. There was no comparing what I did to anybody else. There was no, and really even until really like probably the last 10 years, maybe when Instagram and Facebook had really picked up and the the cell phones that are basic computers in our hand. Like I didn't care. I just hunted for the fun of it and was proud of what I killed and didn't ever think about doing anything else. And now, I have found myself, looking at other people's stuff and thinking like, oh, I got to be this great hunter too. I mean, what at the end of the day, what does that mean?
Yeah, it doesn't mean nothing.
No.
I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I mean, I'm guilty as anybody. Like I spend all kinds of stupid money on gear and crap I don't need,
Yeah. Yeah. You've seen my stuff at my house. I got a little bit of everything, and I'm like,
well, I do too. And it's just like, man,
this?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like maybe it's a generational thing where that generation kind of came off of the Great Depression and all that, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, but that's still some kind of mindset that got flipped. It doesn't mean they were wrong.
Yeah,
that because it changed.
Yeah, I think it was really the end of everything. 2000 was like the end of everything good, man.
Maybe there was something to that
Y2K.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, ever since that, it's like the world is going downhill. Like the 90s were fun, man. And the 80s were pretty cool too. And then it's like, man, we have even more, and we're more miserable now as a society than we did when we had nothing. Like compared to what we had now. I mean, who was it I was talking to? I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was like, talking about how back in the day you'd have to. Oh, I was talking to Titus. I might have said this last time I was on, but maybe not. Anyway, how we used to have pagers. Like, first off, we used to sit in our room late at night talking to girls on a phone with the whole that long cord pulled into the room so you could have some privacy late at night. When your parents were in bed. And then we got pagers, and then you get paged and you call back, and then it went to the cell phones, the flip phones or the Nokias that were indestructible forever. And we had
a Razor.
Yeah, the old Razor. And then I had a StarTAC as the first cell phone I had. And then now you got a freaking computer. You can see everybody's business, where they are and everything anytime.
Yeah, and then now we don't even talk on them. Nobody talks on the phone anymore.
No, they text or they polo.
Yeah.
Dude,
I remember often because I live in the house my grandparents lived in now, but like I remember often like people would just show up like because they wanted to talk to my grandpa.
Yeah,
like, they just knock on the door and they'd be and they'd be at the house for a couple hours.
Yeah, they knock on my door now. I've got a gun in my hand.
Yeah, they got a swing. My grandpa always had a swing out back, and you go sit in the swing and talk to your buddy for a couple hours.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. That is gone, man. That is talking to people in general is gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm bad about it too. Like if you call me, like I may not answer it.
Yeah.
I mean, certain people I definitely would, but just like I don't know, people that talking on the phone thing's gone away.
Yeah, I mean, there's just our world's all messed up, and I think they're to go back to what we're talking about why people are so ugly on Facebook or not just Facebook, but on social media. I just think A, they're somewhat anonymous, and then B, it's just people are miserable, and they can't. I mean, they're not responsible enough to handle all this new technology.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a weird psychological thing that people have where it makes them feel better, putting others down. And some people probably don't even think about it. Like that guy that said that product is crazy or silly, whatever he said. It's like he probably wasn't even thinking about like what's that have an effect on Dave? That sucks, man. Just because you're some idiot that thinks they have like your opinions do not matter, man. Like who the heck are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could see if you're trying to sell a product that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you're trying to fool people into thinking it's the best thing in the world.
Sure.
And you have, but if you're just trying to get started and you got a product that's catching on, I mean, as a business owner, I don't want anybody trashing my work. And if it deserves to be trashed, then trash it,
Yeah.
And I try, but at the same time, like, it's gotten.
Yeah, but I mean, like in that example, I'm gonna quit dwelling on it because I need to quit worrying about it. But like,
you need to talk.
It'd be like somebody trashing you because you use a 48 or you use a 60-inch mower instead of a 48-inch mower. It's like, yeah, there's different applications for these things. Like,
Yeah.
leave it alone.
It's preference, man.
Yeah.
I don't have to use what you like, and you don't have to use what I like, as long as it
Yeah.
gets the job done. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. It was weird, but like just to have the feeling of needing to say something, it's like, I don't think, like, if Jesus was sitting there, what would he think? Dude, I'm not trying to bash this guy, because like I do it all the time too. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
as
guilty.
guilty as we all. It may just be thoughts in our mind too, you know. But yeah,
Yeah, I have a lot of those thoughts, and I don't type it down. But usually, when I type it down, I instantly regret it. And
yeah,
then I either go back and change it, and if I don't change it, then I look back and I'm like, God, that was so stupid, you know. But I don't try to just lash out at people just
yeah,
because they, and the biggest thing that I've learned is, like, I had a guy the other day say something to me. So Tennessee, I think I hunt a lot, and I think, at least in my area, so they changed our season down to a 2-bird limit, right? And they pushed the season back 2 weeks, but they gave us 2 weeks on the back end. We're
yeah,
killing the same number of turkeys as we did before, but their theory on it is that by pushing the season back 2 weeks, the hens will get bred more by the dominant gobbler, whatever that means. I mean, I don't see them saying, "Oh, you killed Henry, I'm not breeding with any other." I mean, they have to. But anyway, the people making these rules, they're not hunters. They're a bunch of bureaucrats in the Wildlife Commission, and they don't listen to the biologists, because the biologists were against it the first time. The biologists actually wanted to increase our numbers to 3 this year limit and go back to the regular season starting the first Saturday in April. Well, I said something about that. I think we have plenty of birds. From what I'm seeing, we got Jakes and hen, the little Jennies running around everywhere the last 2 years. And, I don't think we're on a decline anymore. I think that, it'll help. Man, one guy, what did he say? You must be really special. And I'm like, oh, I wanted to just get back on there and go at him. And I was like, all right, think about this. And I was like, then I just explained my point instead of going back at him with something negative, which I would have done before and I wanted to do. I was just like, man, I'm not going to do this with this guy. I'm just going to go back, make my point, and be done. And then 2 other people comment on there in support of what I was saying. So, sometimes you just got to watch it, because you don't, 2 wrongs don't make a right,
yeah, yeah. And Jay Bizzle, he says, why are you thinking about still? I think it, like, people can say bad things about me and stuff, like, and it doesn't really bother me on here, honestly. But like, man, when I'm trying to like help a buddy out or something and they like put him down, it just drives me insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
Hunting, everybody, you remember when you used to, y'all used to check deer at a checking station, didn't you, in Indiana?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So you remember the checking station days. I mean, I remember those were the best days in the world, because you could go up there and I remember as a kid seeing these deer, man, this was in the 90s. So like, if it was a 120-inch deer, 130-inch deer, you were in awe of it. You're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
and you were so happy. You're listening to the hunter, and it's probably just some guy that sat in a stand and a deer walked out and he shot it, wasn't hunting it. He wasn't the prototypical YouTube hunter that we watch that goes after these specific special deer and names them and the Lakoskis and all that stuff. He was just out there to have a good time, shot a big deer, and, everybody was happy for him, and they were in awe of what he'd killed because they appreciated the animal and not the hunter. You know what I mean? They didn't look at the hunter like, oh, he did this, he's so great because he did this. They were like, wow, what a beautiful animal, and that is an impressive animal, not the feat of killing it. You know what I mean? And I think somewhat we got to get back to where we just appreciate the hunt and the animal rather than trying to be the ultimate hunter. And I have been guilty of that. And I am making a change since last year.
For a lot of years, that's all I thought about was how to be the best hunter,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just till recently, really till I started having kids, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Sucks the life out of you trying to do that. It's like a full-time job.
Yeah. And it's not productive. Like you're never going to be that, right? Someone's always going to be better than you.
Yeah. And even if you are a good hunter, I mean, what does that mean? I mean, you can't take it with you. And you should just help people with the knowledge you have. I have a lot of knowledge because I've been doing it a long time and I do it a lot. You have a lot of knowledge because you've been doing it a long time. And when you grow up doing it, and you do it the way that you did, your dad did, I did with my dad, and stuff like that, you're going to have more knowledge than the 25-year-old guy or 30-year-old guy that's like, man, I think I want to take up hunting, or my buddy took me hunting last year. I really enjoy it. And so we need to help those people so that they can be better hunters and enjoy the same thing we've been enjoying instead of whatever, social media does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can you start over?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. All right. Let's go backwards a minute.
You can just take that. You can restart a live stream too, so you'll just be behind. But I would suggest doing that.
Yeah. We ain't starting over.
What you had some Bible verses you said you were looking at?
Yeah, I went and looked some. Oh, we lost Josh.
Sorry, 1 second. I unplugged my camera. Keep going, Patrick.
Okay, so one was Matthew 7:1-6. It's Jesus taught us how to treat each other's, and it's don't judge, don't be hypocritical, and use discernment. And I think that's a really good verse in itself, because a lot of the stuff I think that people say online is they're hypocrites because they're doing the same thing. They're judging, what other people do. And, discernment, just kind of pick your battles sometimes because they're not always worth fighting, Josh, you're distracting me over there.
Sorry, I'm fixing this good camera. I accidentally unplugged it. Man, I've had all kinds of issues today.
I know. He had a mic issue earlier.
Yeah.
I sat out here in the dark waiting on him to come to. I was like, did I go to the right spring yard or am I on the wrong one? Did I mess up?
I've done almost 200 of these things. You'd think I'd have this down to a science, and I kind of do, but for some reason today, nothing's freaking working.
It's just one of those days, man. It's because it's Tuesday. Here. There you go.
There, I'm nice and clear now.
Yeah, much better.
Right. Won't touch anything again.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. We didn't do this on Monday. We did it on Tuesday, so I'm all flustered.
Yeah, that's what we're getting going. Let's say enjoy helping people. Yeah, a little encouragement goes a long way. Absolutely. Makes you feel good too. Like that video that you posted, I'll say that because that video did crazy good on YouTube, like for what it was. And I never even knew that you were videoing me talking to that guy at that restaurant. I mean, that wasn't staged. That was just he was a nice guy, seemed interested in turkey hunting. He hunts himself. And I just, he came out there to help us. He cooks a good omelet too, because I had his omelet the other day and some good bacon. And, he came out there and we were talking, and I mean, it shows that there are a lot of people that do appreciate that kind of stuff, content and stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, no, it's needed right now. I think a lot of things are, I kind of think we're at a tipping point where people are really craving something different than what's been going on. I think people are tired of all the hate, the wokeness, all that, and are really starting to open up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why that little short did so well. It's like, I don't know. People thought like, wow, look at that. That's amazing. Like, someone helped someone else out.
Yeah. So I think people do it more than what we know. I love talking hunting with people. My wife will tell you I'm long-winded, obviously. So, I mean, I can talk with the best of them. And when it comes to hunting, I like sharing my knowledge and maybe helping somebody to learn something else, that can help them.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. I'm not as socially like out there as you are, like in social settings, but if you get me going, I love helping people in that scenario.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I appreciate you doing that. Cause like it showed me like, oh, I had to like be intentional and do some stuff like that. Cause usually I probably wouldn't have done something like that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he was a really nice guy too, man.
Oh yeah. And you
never know. You could end up helping somebody and they go, hey, you want to come hunt? Or you want to show me, and you get make a new friend out of it, Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how you and I met. I was like, hey, I'm going to Illinois. You want to go to Illinois? Come on with me. And then you came down there and hunted, and we hit it off. So you never know what kind of relationships can be built just by, giving somebody a helping hand. Or
treating someone the way you'd want to be treated.
Exactly. I love people to help me. I need a lot of it,
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm going to text my wife, tell her to put these lights on.
Oh, you're good now.
I'm good now, but I won't be in a minute.
Is it getting dark? Getting dark
bit.
On you?
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah, and I think probably what people yeah, just I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say here is like, be nice to people like behind closed doors too. Like you don't
Mhm.
have to, you know, like Patrick did. We did, he didn't even know I was filming him do that. Like just, I don't know. Sometimes I get that when you're nice on social media, that doesn't mean a whole lot, right?
Yeah, and you said too. You said it on when you gave that bow to Sawyer. You quoted Matthew, uh,
Yeah,
the verse in Matthew about just doing things for other people and not doing it for
not
any kind of,
expecting anything for
not
it.
expecting a return, and also not doing it to be seen.
Yeah,
Like when you do, God doesn't like it when you do that. When you
right.
do it for a reason, like, hey, look at me, look what I did, nice. He likes it much more when you're just genuinely doing it because it's what he commands us to do, and that's what we all should do. I got another Bible verse here. It's Galatians 6:9. It says, "And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up." And I think that's a good one too. Just shows you
Elaborate.
you reap what you sow.
Yeah,
Basically is what that's saying. If you keep doing good, good things will come to you. But don't do them so good things will come to you. Just do them because you're supposed to do it. You know what I mean?
yeah. And that's a hard concept for people to because we want instant gratification too,
Oh yeah.
so that's a hard concept for people to grasp sometimes.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of
Or they
people
get or you hear this a lot, like um you do something good for someone, and then initially it's for the goodness of your heart, and then all of a sudden that person gets something, or um you feel like they owe you something.
right.
you know
Yep.
it's like, no, I mean, I don't know that your good work then wasn't really a good work. It was you wanting to get something from someone,
Yeah.
or
I,
having an IOU ticket.
I tell you, if taking people hunting, um, and stuff like that gives you riches in heaven. John Gaines got a lot of stored riches
Oh yeah, dude.
in heaven because, man, he has taken more people on hunts. He ain't even killed a turkey on his own farm this year, and I mean, there's been several taken by friends and stuff like
I
that.
shot one there.
You shot one there, and he was so sad because he was like, man, I just felt like he was in and out, and I didn't get to talk to him and hang out, and
Yeah.
because you killed your birds, and then he left to go there, and he wanted to talk and hunt more, and but there's just man, I can't tell you how many people have shot their first turkey with him, have shot multiple turkeys with him, and a lot of these guys he takes aren't even hunters. I remember last year there was the guy that he's become friends with. He was a retired military guy. I forget what his rank was. He was high up there. Retired from, I think, the Air Force or Army. I'm not sure. One or the other. Anyway, he lives over in Little Rock, and he was in Bass Pro Shops here, and John was with a friend of his, and his friend was he's got like the gift of gab. He just starts talking to people, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you turkey hunters? Yeah, I've been putting in for 14 years to hunt this special draw hunt, and I finally got drawn." He's like, 14 years? He's like, yeah, I've never killed a turkey. I really want to kill one, blah, blah, blah. He goes, well, if you want to kill a turkey, you need to talk to him. And John's like, well, what's that? And so they get to talking, and he exchanged numbers. He's like, well, look, when you go on your hunt, he says, call me if you got any questions. I'll try to help walk you through what to do with these turkeys if they're frustrating. He goes, man, I really appreciate it. He's like, yeah, seriously, call me. So the guy called and helped him. He's like, well, look, you come over here. I'll give you a place to stay, and we'll get you a turkey. So he came over here and stayed with one of John's good friends, has a guest house that's close to the farm, and he stayed there, and they went turkey hunting, and he killed him a bird, and I think he invited John to go on a snow goose hunt and a duck hunt with him this last year, and he came over again this year and killed a bird with him. So it's like just doing stuff like that is really
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
refreshing.
And John is a very good example, and nobody knows John. Because I don't think he's on social media and all that stuff, right?
No, he's got a Facebook and Instagram, and there's no picture.
Yeah.
And he just gets on Instagram because he got paranoid about TikTok, and he likes to watch the reels. He's 57, so he liked to get on TikTok and watch. He was loved TikTok forever and send me everything. Then he started worrying about China getting his information. So he stopped TikTok and he went to Instagram like it's this big new thing. I'm like, Instagram's been out for a long time.
Yeah.
So he sends me reels off Instagram all the time that he likes. His
That's
stuff
funny.
hunting.
But he's a good example of how you can be. Like, I mean, talking to him, he loves killing big deer. He's killed tons and tons of them. And a lot of people that are that way are the last thing they're going to do is help you out or take you somewhere they're hunting,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not like that at all, man. He shares his ground. I mean, how many people have hunted there this year? Like from deer season to turkey season here. There's probably been a dozen people he's let on there. I
Oh
bet.
yeah, from deer to turkey. I know you came down and hunted, and came down the second time to hunt, and then we got you one on my place, and then what he does is he just like has these certain people that he just is like, hey, I got to get him this, I got to get him a deer, I
Yeah.
got to get him that, and it's like I don't get it. If I had a farm, I would do the same thing. I mean, I wouldn't take probably everybody. Like
Yeah.
I don't know that I would do what he does, but I would definitely, my friends and people I'm close to would have and I wouldn't be selfish if he was like, you live down here by me and you're like, hey, I got a good friend who's never turkey hunted. Can he come on your farm and kill a turkey or a deer or whatever? I'd be like, heck
Yeah.
yeah, go for it. Because I mean, what's the point if you can't share what you have? He's
Yeah.
just, man, I'm telling you, there's been a lot of people. Though I tell you, one of the most memorable hunts. My dad had a heart attack back in 2009. Yeah, 2009. Yeah, and I thought he was going to die. The doctor said he's going to die. Well, he didn't. He made full recovery. He was fine. And that December, we went out to John's to hunt. And, he was like, at first, he's like, look, don't shoot, make sure it's a big deer if you shoot it. And I was like, all right. So we sat back. He set a blind up for my dad and everything in this field where he wanted us to go. And I took my dad back there and we were sitting in the blind. And this is one thing I'll never be able to repay him for. And deer walked out. It was probably like 120-inch deer, 110, something like that. And my dad hadn't killed a lot of big deer because he grew up hunting in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and in the 90s. And then by this time, he's kind of older and he wasn't hunting as much. So deer walked out and I was like, John, there's a one in the field. I said, my dad's pretty excited. I said, but it's not a big deer. And he was like, well, how big is it? And I said, it's probably 110-inch deer. And he's like, you know what? You let your dad shoot it since everything happened and everything, let your dad shoot it. And man, my dad shot that deer and we both started crying. It was the most emotional thing. He dropped it, man, right in his tracks.
Yeah.
We both started crying, and it was just, you never know when your good gesture like that and what it's going to mean to somebody in the long run. And that, I'm telling you, like, man, hopefully he's got plenty of treasure up in heaven.
Yeah. Right.
I mean,
Yeah. So and you don't, like you said, like to him, that deer, that whatever, that deer don't mean nothing to John. It's like, but him letting you guys, letting you guys bend the rules a little bit.
Yeah.
Essentially, gave you something you're never going to forget.
Mm-hmm. The experience was worth more than him. My dad killed a 190-inch deer.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter.
I mean, it'd be in my house right now, and I'd be like, "That's my daddy's deer." But
yeah,
it's still that deer is still. I mean, it's in my house. So and I thought about mounting it full. It's a nothing. It's just most people be a nothing deer. It's a 110-inch. Maybe 110-inch. 8-point. But that one, and then another one that I killed. But that deer specifically, that and another deer, and a turkey hunt we went on, probably my 3 best memories of hunting with my dad that I ever had. And one of them was because of John. And that, like I said, when you do stuff for people, and John's just good. So like, man, he ain't stressing. He'll kill a big deer or several every year.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. We got to get John on here sometime.
Yeah.
On a hunting podcast one. We'll talk about hunting the whole time.
Well, I was really hoping we could make it up to Indiana.
I know that'd be perfect time to do it.
That would have been awesome. And I mean, next year we'll do it. I mean, you come back down next year and do a turkey hunt, and we'll I'm got to make it to Indiana next year. Hopefully money and everything will be right, and weather too, because weather was kind of screwy. But yeah, definitely need to come up there and bring him. It'd be fun. Maybe get him on here for another podcast for the, I'll have to get him over here because he won't be able to use
that we definitely have to do that. You guys could just sit there and together.
He'll be like this, like, with what do I do with my,
what do I do with my hand?
What was that? What movie was that? It was that Talladega Nights?
Anchorman, wasn't it? No, it was a Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights. She's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. That's how he is with technology. Like, how do I do the technology?
He's talking to him. He's super detailed with things, and he'd be an interesting person to chit chat about deer hunting with. Let people ask him questions and whatnot.
Yeah, I'd like to. Man, he's got so much knowledge. It's crazy. And, I just can't even go into it. He's got a heck of a wall at his house.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like, man, he's never posts a picture. You're not gonna. I mean, I don't know about half the stuff he kills for a few years.
He don't even tell you about it.
Not all of it. He's real, just quiet about it, and he doesn't want any kind of He doesn't. He never. He doesn't want people to like tell him he's the best at it, or he doesn't look for any kind of accolades for it.
Yeah.
He just loves to kill big deer and kill a lot of turkeys, and take people and watch them kill deer.
Yep. Yeah, it's cool. I'd love to go to his house and look at all of his deer.
Yeah, it's funny. He lived in an apartment one time, and this is like, I think he just moved back here because he used to guide for elk out in Colorado, and he had a friend and they guided, and they'd stay up on the mountain for the month and guide. And he had a guide license and everything. He moved to Boise, and then he went back down to Colorado and lived there for a little bit. But when he moved back, he had to get all his crap out of storage, and he lived in this apartment, and it did have like a vaulted ceiling. Like, it was a bigger apartment. It was small. It was like a 1-bedroom. Man, you couldn't have shoved another deer head in that living room, man. I was like, man, there's a lot of deer heads and, skull mounts.
How many do you think he has, Patrick?
Oh, he's probably got 200 or 300, I would bet. Skull mount. And they're not all giant. I mean, I'd say probably, they're very impressive. I'd say 100 of them are really, really, really good deer. And there's a lot of good ones that are old that, a lot of people,
right?
He likes shooting older deer, and he's got a weird thing about 8 points.
Yeah.
He loves big 8 points, loves a big 8 point. And so that's like his unicorn deer that he wants all the time. But yeah, he's got a lot. I don't know if he's got 300, but he's got a lot. He's got over 100, I'm sure, that are really not mounts, full mounts, but skulls or,
Oh, well, you show me, you show me a clip of, he had I don't know, probably 50 European mounts that were real big that you were kind of showing me.
Yeah, he's got some good ones. He's been hunting since he's a little boy, and he's in his almost 60 now. He don't look 60, don't act 60, but
yeah. Well, you guys live in a good area to shoot a bunch of deer too. Like, you can kill a couple in Tennessee, go over to Mississippi or Arkansas. Yeah.
Yeah, you kill. Since I can remember, we used to be able to kill 4 in Tennessee, bucks, and then you've always had 3 in Mississippi, and then Arkansas. He's been to Saskatchewan a few times. I don't know if he's hunted Missouri, Illinois, but and he owns his own farm and stuff like that. So
yeah,
he's
he doesn't manage it though like a typical TV hunting personality manages it though.
No,
he doesn't do. His food plots aren't I don't know. There wasn't hardly any food plots when I was there.
He spends most of his time in Arkansas now. He was, he still has a presence on the farm, and I can hunt out there, whenever. And, but yeah, he hasn't done a lot with the food plots out there. He kind of, when CWD came in, he got really pretty over it with Tennessee. It was like, you know what? I'm not going to touch him. I'm not going to eat him. I'm not going to do anything with him. It really freaked him out. And so he just kind of let the farm sit for a little while, and he didn't do all that, which me personally, I've hunted it both ways. He used to have 35 food plots on that 600-acre farm, and at least that many salt licks at one time. He had it done right, but and his dad passed away too, which is another thing. His dad was a big reason why he kept that farm. He did a lot of the work out there for his dad, and that's why he kept it up. So his dad could always have good hunts in his last days and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, because his dad was sick for a little while, and but when his dad passed, he just kind of, and then CWD came that winter when his dad passed, and so it was that. Along with that, he just kind of was and he started going to Arkansas, and I think he just kind of let it go, for a while. But the deer hunting there to me is better than it.
Never has been.
It's as good as it was. Turkey hunting's excellent too. So
yeah, there's a lot of turkeys there.
Yeah, we got them here.
Yeah. Something else we'll go back to our topic about loving your neighbor. Something else I think we often think about loving our neighbors or as ourselves, and we think about other people, maybe just random people you see on the road and stuff. But I think a lot of times you need to look inside your own house and see how you're treating people, making sure you're treating your loved ones as you want them to treat you as well. like we get complacent with our family sometimes.
Yeah. I think a lot of people that hunt too neglect marriages and stuff and kids.
Oh
And there's
yeah.
always, I mean, I've been guilty of it
Yeah.
in the past, and I don't do it anymore. There's just some things more important,
Yeah.
and you
It
got to
always
ask.
makes
Go ahead.
it always makes me cringe. Like this is a very common like problem in the hunting industry is like guys bashing their wives to each
Mhm.
other. Like, you know, that she won't let me do this or she won't let me do that. It's like, well, I mean, man, I don't know. It's a like you shouldn't talk bad about your wife like that.
No, and you got to think about it, man. If you don't get married to be by yourself, right? So if your wife left for, I don't know, 3 months out of the year and was non-existent, you'd be probably wondering what the heck happened, or probably get pretty sad. You might stray, or do something stupid like that. Well, you're basically doing it with your wife when you get just tunnel vision on deer hunting, and I am very guilty of doing that. And
Yeah, me
I'm a
too.
lot better. This last season was really the first season I can say that I backed off of that as much and made her a priority more than the deer hunting. And it was, I mean, it
Yeah.
helped your marriage and stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, I think about this a lot. Like, could you imagine if your wife did something like like the money you spend, the time you spend doing it? Like, if the shoe was on the other foot, how would that make you feel? Like,
Yeah.
guys don't think about that.
Yeah. What if your wife was taking trips to the Bahamas every
And
weekend
leaving you with the kids.
for 3 months and leaving
Yeah,
you with the kids? You'd be like, man, how
yeah,
is this fair? No, this isn't fair. I'm stuck. And even if
yeah,
you don't have kids, I mean, me and Brandy, we don't have kids, but she, you know, she likes being around me and I like being around her. And she wants me home because when I'm not here, a lot of the times, she gets bored. She doesn't want to be you don't get married to be by yourself, and so you're out hunting all the time, you know, you got to think about them too, man. And the
yeah.
Bible, reading the scripture and stuff like that. Like it was a year and a half ago, I really started diving into this stuff and reading the Bible and read the whole New Testament. It's made a huge difference in my marriage and just the way I think about everything. So, I can't encourage people enough to do it.
Yeah, for sure. And you become whenever you become deeper into your Christian faith and it becomes more important to you, like those uh those good traits come out a little easier
Yeah.
than the bad ones did, before you were all about yourself.
Have you, so, you've always been involved in the church and going to church, and I have a different story. So from me looking at you, I wonder, have you ever struggled with those things, being selfish and like really not caring if Maddie was upset or not, and you going hunting anyway? Like, have you ever done that, or have you always kind of?
Mm, I'm always very sensitive to if she's upset or not.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, dude, for sure, I've been guilty of that. I mean, doing, uh, you know, doing trips when I probably shouldn't have, or, um, yeah, yeah.
I don't even. I've got.
Oh,
I don't even like to go anywhere without my wife anymore.
yeah,
It's
I know.
weird. I'm like, God, I'm such just a little girl now. I'm like, like, dude, I used to be like, I'm going hunting. Bye, see ya.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't care. I'm getting out of here before I hear you complain, and I'd leave. I mean, I was bad, and
Oh, dude, I know people that don't tell their wives about hunting trips until they're gone,
yeah, I
or
wouldn't do
don't
that.
mention it to them.
Now, I always kind of asked her, but I mean, I didn't care if she said yes or no. I was going to do what I wanted to do. And I
Yeah.
mean, I've been single. I was single for 35 years, got married late in life, don't have kids. So there's a lot of that had an issue with it. But, when I started, reading the New Testament stuff, it just changes your heart and it makes you go, it's not more important. Nothing's more important than my wife other than God, you know.
Yep.
I think we can all learn from that. Even if you're in a bad relationship with your wife and she's complaining about some of the things that we're talking about, read your Bible, look yourself in the mirror, and ask yourself, is there anything I can do to make this thing better? Because if you don't love her right now because she's on your nerves because she's ragging you all the time, maybe if you stop doing the things that are bothering her, you'll have a better marriage.
Yeah. Yep. No, I have 100% been guilty of that.
I just
I mean,
wondered if you've ever felt the conviction like about that, I guess, or is it just natural, like you just don't want to do it because you've always been you've always been in the church and been around that. As someone me, like I've had to learn those things.
yeah, no, I mean, I've always known it doesn't feel right,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I've never since day one. I've never understood the guys that just hate their wives. It's they perceive that they hate their wives to their friends or whatever.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Like people just like
Yeah.
that just hate their wives. It
Oh,
seems.
I've had people gripe about their wives. I'm like, why are you even married? Like, what's the point if you hate her that much? Or I don't know.
Why don't you
man.
figure that out, buddy? Like,
yeah, you kind of are a hypocrite because you're married to her, but you say you hate her. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
I know.
I mean, I can see.
I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine, like, for me at least, like it's miserable if your wife. To me, it's miserable if your wife's mad and you're hunting somewhere. Like,
oh, it's not fun.
No,
because you can't call her and tell her what you killed because she's gonna be like, or she's not even gonna answer the phone.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I like the calls when you call them, hey, how's everything going, whatever, and then they're like, yeah, good. Did you kill anything? Because they're genuinely like want you to kill something because they're most women, if they're good, if you married a bad woman, sorry, dude, maybe it is her, but if you married a good woman, then they generally want you to be happy. So, you want to be happy too. You want to make them happy too.
Yeah.
So just a little common courtesy and, doing what God says, treat them like you'd want to be treated, like Jesus says.
Yep. Yeah. And marriage is tough in general. I mean, marriage is, you always think like, in life, you always think like, oh, it's going to get better and it's going to get better. It's like nothing ever gets really better. Like it's all just, you're constantly going to have some type of a struggle in life and you got to be okay with that. And I think that's true with marriage too. Like you're going to constantly have to keep working on it and getting better and improving yourself and your spouse's self, supporting them so they can get better.
Yeah. And we as men forget too, man, because a lot of the times, it's the woman that rags on us about being the spiritual leader. And a lot of times the women lead the men to church and force them. Yeah. Man, it's not their job, dude. If you're having a bad marriage because you're not being the spiritual leader in your house, you need to check yourself and you need to read what God wants you to do. Because it don't matter what your wife wants you to do. It don't matter what you want to do. It don't matter what your kids want to do. When God wants you to do something, he tells you to do it. If you're not doing it, you're not going to have a happy life. There's going to be something that is in your control to fix that you're not fixing because you're going against what God tells you to do. And it could be just, it could be just that easy. A lot of times when you get into church and you're with your wife, like, man, it really does something with a woman who's a Christian. They really like seeing their husband plugged in and feeling like they have that spiritual leader. And when they don't, women are lost without us in that way. If they're married, they're lost without you leading. Like it's biblical: man, wife, children. God, man, wife, children. That's how God sees it. So if you're not doing what you need to do and trying to live that way, then they're going to immediately just lose respect.
Yeah. Yep. It's yeah, I know, man. It's tough. It's I don't know. I feel bad for women, man. I'm so thankful that I'm a man. I don't like seeing childbirth now a couple times and all that. Man, I don't know how they do.
Oh, you were in there?
Yeah, dude. Every man is in there.
Are they?
Yes.
I know, man. I know that. I'm just being funny. Yeah.
I didn't know if you didn't know.
I'd be in there like this. Is he out yet? All right. All right. I got it.
My grandma, she said back in the day that wasn't common practice. Like she said, my grandpa wasn't there for any of their kids. Like he was out in the waiting room. They wouldn't let you go back there, I guess.
Oh, they did that during COVID. What a ripoff too, man. When they did that during COVID, they wouldn't let anybody in.
I guess like she said that he was probably out there smoking a cigarette. That's probably what he was doing. That's what she says.
Nervous. Hope this goes
Yeah,
all right.
I'm sure he was nervous or excited.
We planned this so it didn't come during deer season. I hope he comes out now.
Yeah.
Elizabeth makes a good point too, like women doing the stuff that makes their husband happy too. That's
yeah.
But you got to do it. You have to lead. Men have to lead by example. That's that God says we're the leaders. You got to lead by example. And if you lead by example, then you can ask for a lot more. And there are some women. I mean, my best friend, his wife won't do anything he wants to do. I mean, and he goes out of his way to do whatever. But yeah.
And there's different personalities too. Like some people like to be, like to do their own thing. Some people don't.
Yeah.
You got to know all that. You got to as the leader or as someone that is married, you got to understand all those things. And
Zeke's seen 4 C-sections, man.
Well, yeah, I've seen 2.
Oh, Betty had to have C-sections?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The first one, Huck, was bad. It was an emergency one, so they didn't have time to like cover things up or anything.
Man, was that weird?
It's very intrusive, man. It's very rough surgery.
Yeah, my wife, when she had
you're talking about a 8-inch gap. I mean, it's a giant cut into their belly.
Yeah, they're not trying to keep their figure. They're like, we're getting this baby out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brandy had one too with her son. He was like 8-pound, 8'9".
Yeah.
So I mean, he was a big boy, and she's small. She's like 5'3" maybe, and she's small, so she had to have a C-section too.
Yeah.
Man. Whew. He says it's like a scene from MASH. You probably saw stuff worse than that over in Iraq. So when you were over there, Zeke.
MASH was a little before my time. I remember MASH, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah, it was. I've watched the old stuff. It was before my time too, but that with a baby.
Oh, dude, there's nothing like childbirth. Like it is the worst and best day of your life. Like it's stressful to the max.
Oh, I've
been when it's over, it's good, but man,
yeah, you got to worry about 2 people, being healthy rather than just one. You're worried about the baby, but you kind of know, okay, he's healthy. We just got to get him out, right? And now with our technology, we know. But then you got to worry about like how does the childbirth go? So that would be. Whew.
Yeah. The second C-section was much more relaxed because it was scheduled and it all went really smooth and everything. Like Huck came out, he wasn't breathing. They had to take him away to the urgent, whatever it's called, the
NICU,
and we didn't get to see him for a while and all that. So it was kind of scary, but that was horrible. I mean, Huck's birth almost made me not want to have any more kids. But I mean, it all worked out.
Pace was a lot easier though, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
pretty smooth.
Yeah, it was smooth. I mean, the C-sections are not smooth. Like they're very rough surgery. But
now, did she have to have a C-section because she'd already had one?
Yeah, they strongly recommended her having a.
I would imagine
one.
I imagine all that tissue down there is weak and
pushing
a baby through the birth canal probably hard.
Yeah.
So we went from Jesus to gynecological.
Yeah.
We've covered the whole gambit there.
But I just wanted to get on here because I'm trying to work on this, being nice to others, and something else I constantly like. I don't do it online, but like just like gossiping between friends and stuff.
Yeah,
that's always something to, even if it's harmless. But it's like, if it's not productive talk and it's not helping anybody, like just stay out of other people's business,
Yeah, if it depends on what it is. I think it kind of depends on what it is. Like if you're talking about like their marriage or like how bad of a dad they are or something like that, or how they did this. But if you're talking about like hunting habits or like just kind of goofy, that might not be.
It's probably things like, I don't know if a good way of. Well, I think the problem with like what you're saying though is if you're not talking to them about it, it's not really productive.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like if we got a buddy that is, I don't know, cheating on his wife or something, and me and you are gossiping about it, like.
Yeah,
like if
I think
we're
it's
not
human nature though to talk about that stuff. I think it's almost impossible not to talk about it. Especially
but it doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah,
if
you both care about him and you're like, man, he's just going down the wrong path.
Yeah,
if you're doing it for simple, hey, let's enjoy this conversation.
or if you're telling the people that don't need to know about it, like what I mean. If you're just spreading it around,
it's different amongst friends. if you're in a friend group and you're kind of talking about one of your friends not doing what they should do, I think that's all right. But I think, yeah, like what you're saying, just like me randomly saying, like, hey, my friend has this issue, and ha ha. Let's laugh about him, whatever it is,
Yeah. Anyways, this day and age, man, there's a lot of gossip going around. It drives me insane.
Yeah. Yep. It's social media times.
Stupid social media stuff too. Like having to know what's going on in everybody's businesses drives me crazy.
Yeah. Well, we all are so used to knowing it. It's gotten to be where that's just the way we.
And almost if you don't know it, it drives you. It's like one of those things where you have to know it. So you're going to ask whoever you have to hear about it.
Better just keep your blinders on. You're in a good spot though, where you live out in the country, and just, man, you got pretty good, simple little life there. Got it going on, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Small towns are pretty bad with gossip though.
Yeah. Well, that's what my wife, I was talking tonight about going to this church up here, because, we kind of lost our church home that we had made, and just because of that, some stuff that went on. So we're talking about going to church. She's like, I just don't know. She's like, all these people in Fayette County go there, and they're all in these little cliques. And I was like, well, maybe we can find a clique to be in. It doesn't matter.
I miss my cliques.
Yeah. I was like, we can make our own clique, man. Clique of two,
Well, I didn't even know there's cliques anymore. Like, after you get a certain age, does cliques kind of go away?
Down here in the country, people are real cliquey.
Really?
Weird. Yeah. I'm not part of it because I'm from the city. So I'm a transplant out here. But the people that are raised and born out here, they're really they're cliquey out here. They know everybody. Huh. Old families, old money, all farmers, farmers' kids, the drug head, he's on this. So they know all that.
I can see that. I can see that.
Me, I'm just kind of like, hey, man, I tried to get out of Memphis so I didn't die.
Yeah.
How are y'all? I love Jesus, and I didn't want to die, so I left.
I ain't gonna bother you.
Yeah, I have a landscaping company, and I cut grass. I just want to come in here, hear the word, and get fed every Sunday.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I guess there's a little bit of that around here. I don't know. I'm at this weird age though in life where you don't hang out with a lot of people outside of your family. Like we try to get together a couple times a year with some of our friends, but it's like you're so busy with your kids and your immediate family. It's hard to make time for like your friends, but all my friends are doing this. It's like, fine. It's not a big deal. It's like all my friends are doing the same thing. They all got kids right now. We're all in that age where kids are kind of the center of your life. So you kind of, it's not like we do it on purpose either. Like when we do get together, we got together with a bunch of friends Saturday. It's like we never miss a beat, It just keeps going, just reality of life right now. I'm sure when the kids grow up, it'll all be back to seeing your friends more often. But
yeah, that's how we are. I mean, it's normal. Someone's 10 years older than you, a little bit 10, 11 years older. That's kind of the way it is. Your friends, like my best friend. I mean, he had two twins, and then he's got his son is going to be 17 this year, and his son's cool as he can be. He works for me sometimes, and love Dylan. But his two little twins they are a hoot. They are a handful. Yeah. I got some good video of them turkey season that I will release next year. That is funny, of them running for a candy bar trying to find a turkey track or turkey poop in the woods. But they're 10 years old, and I mean, he has just not been able. I mean, I call him and. You want your friend to go hunt with you and do things, and I'll be like, hey, man, you want to go? And he can't ever get away hardly.
Yeah.
And so, he does, and it's what you said. It's just kids,
Yeah.
I'm like a big kid, so it just doesn't really. I just hang out with his kid, with Dylan. I'm like, Dylan, let's, hi, it's Dylan. You want to go hunting with me?
Yeah, that's fine.
I call all my workers my boys, because they're like, I don't have kids, and I try to put everything I can into the kids that work for me and give them advice and cut up with them and get on their level a little bit. It's
Uncle Patrick.
Young. I guess hopefully I'm the cool uncle and not the creepy one. Look at my head. Look at my face right now. It looks like. Look at that.
It's like you're floating. Dude, I noticed it about the same time you were starting to talk about it.
Yeah, I said they're talking. I was leaning forward. I was like, hold on. My body's gone.
Oh, if you're listening to this audio side of it,
Yeah.
gotta go to the YouTube portion. Oh, that was funny.
Yeah. Till next week, guys. We'll see y'all later.
Stop, dude.
I got this black shirt on too, so that's what's doing it.
Yeah, I know. Jeez, that's funny. Oh my gosh, dude. We got anything else to talk about, or are we good?
I think we're good. We should leave it on that funny little note there.
Oh, look, dude, Elizabeth. I don't ever want to bring this up, but dude, people used to leave all kinds of super chats, and that like went away. But thank you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth is like the gold standard of super chats.
She's always donating. It's awesome.
She says, "Love listening to these pleasantly wholesome chat without a bunch of drama. Keep it up, guys." Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Yeah, and like nice. I want to also like say again, like, dude, we don't know what we're doing either. Like we probably say some stuff on here that may not be right, or we may be thinking wrong, but like we're doing our best to navigate it. So if we ever offend anybody on here, it wasn't on purpose. Like it was. We've gotten a few. Like I was talking to my pastor the other day. Like I have gotten some comments on here, it's like anti-Jesus comments or Christian comments a few times, mostly on shorts, which that shorts bring in a whole different audience of people, not my core audience. But yeah, he was like, yeah, he goes, that's going to happen whenever you are publicly a Christian. You know?
Yeah. What did Jesus say? He says they hated me long before they hate you.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, people need thicker skin. And some people just like to they have this thing against Christianity, man, where they just hate it.
Yeah.
Hate it. And it's like, I don't hate that you're an atheist. I wish you weren't. Yeah. I'll pray for you, but I don't hate you. I don't hate it. I don't hate that you like to talk about atheism. Wish you wouldn't. But, I mean, don't hate me because I have a faith that you don't understand, you know?
Yeah. And it's a weird thing to hate because, like, okay, I understand how people hate the hypocrisy in Christians, because that annoys me too. Like, there are some people that are really hypocritical, and we don't always follow that love your neighbor as yourself very well.
Yeah.
But like, to hate the idea of a Christian is kind of weird, because it's like it's just teaching you to be a good person. Essentially.
Well, that's where people need to stop looking for their example in man and read the daggum Bible.
Yeah.
Stop looking for your example in me. Stop looking for your example of Christ and Josh. Look at us as examples of people that are trying to be better and trying to follow Jesus, but don't look at us as examples of perfection.
Yeah, we're not Jesus.
We're not Jesus. We just love him for what we know about him and what we've learned and what he's done for us in our lives. And we want to share that as we're commanded to do, and because we want to do it. So take the information in and heck, read the Gospels and decide for yourself, man. If you don't like it, hey, man, that's just the way it is. It's your lot in life, right? But you might find something in there that change your heart. And that's what I pray for people. But it's very strange. There's a lot, and the Jews are going through it right now too. There's a lot of hate for the Jews right now in America. And I think there's a lot of love for them too, but we're seeing more hate than we have. So, people hate Muslims. I believe what you want to believe. My job is to introduce you to Christ and then let him do the work on you. And that's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to force anything on anybody. Yeah. I just want you to know about it. It's like, what did Cliff say? It's like, if you had a terminal disease, right, and I had the cure and I never told you I had the cure, that's not the right thing to do. And I feel like for everybody's life, I don't feel like, my faith tells me that Jesus Christ is the answer to all your problems. And if you'll put your faith in him, he will change your life. And so for me to withhold that from people and not let them know that it's real and that they can have it too, and that all they got to do is read 4 books, probably take you a month to read it. And then, maybe it'll change your life. Just try it. It's not going to kill you. You probably you probably spent an hour or 2 a day on the TikTok or looking up something or bad stuff, Yeah. I mean, look at your Bible for, like I tell, 6 minutes a day and just read a little bit and see if it has an effect on you.
Yep. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching tonight.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll I'm gonna have a guest on Thursday night. Jonathan Moreland's coming on Thursday night. So.
Oh, nice, man. I might ask if I can slip in. Unless
yeah, you can. I don't care.
Yeah,
he's a southern guy, so that's
he's right
where
across the river from me. It'd be neat to kind of chat with him a little bit.
Yep. All right, everybody. Have a good night.
See y'all later.
And we'll see you Thursday.
God bless y'all.